Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoterica and our continuing series on the Wii U, and today we're taking a look at the wonderful 101 released by Platinum Games. It's a really unique, fun, and creative beat-em-up that I absolutely love playing. But before we get too far involved talking about it, if you can do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell. We would really appreciate your guys' support. And if you feel so inclined, we got a Patreon link down there as well. But this game came out of nowhere for the Wii U, and I bought it, and I played it, and I fell in love with it. And that's not to say that it doesn't have its faults. I do have a few complaints about the game that I'll get into later, but if you take the game as an entire package, it is a ton of fun and absolutely worth playing if you never have. And what I love the most about it is just its absurd nature. It is a comic book come to life. It's like a comic book superhero video game, but without featuring any of those characters that you actually know. The basic premise is that you have your one playable character that you're controlling and you can swap back and forth, and then you have all these different ancillary characters that are going to assist you in fights. But the entire presentation is so much fun. When a new enemy comes out, you're going to get this little presentation for them before the fight starts, but then you're right into the action. And if Pikmin 3 was a really relaxing casual game where you had to deal with a lot of character management at once, the wonderful 101 is the high-paced, intense version of Pikmin 3. And granted, gameplay-wise, they really aren't anything similar, but for the look and feel of them, this game reminds me of the Pikmin series a ton. And I love just how colorful and vibrant it really is. You get this incredible depth of field effect that the Wii U did so well at manufacturing in the background, and the scale of everything, you really feel like you're having these gigantic battles in real neighborhoods, but at the same time it kind of looks and feels like you're playing a diorama, and that is a lot of fun because this game just looks and feels different than everything else on the Wii U. And granted, it has been remastered. You can get this on the PlayStation 4, you can get this on the Switch, but there's so many built-in mechanics that use the Wii U gamepad in conjunction with your TV that I think that this is still the best version to play to get a sense of exactly how Platinum Games wanted the game to be presented the first time around. And you can still get this game relatively inexpensively, but with the Wii U gamepad here, and I can't show you the screen because there's no direct capture, you're able to turn this little crank and get into this warehouse, and the game presents just a small puzzle to you having to deal with the combination lock. And while it does work well on a single screen, having the Wii U gamepad, which I'm showing in the bottom right hand corner there as well, it's just a nice touch and it makes it feel all that more special. But when the combat is going off, Platinum Games does a great job of making hard combat games. Bayonetta 2, awesome, intense, beat 'em up. Wonderful 101, awesome, intense, beat 'em up. Platinum Games is great at this genre, and I like that they're always pivoting and changing what the game feels like. Bayonetta 2, mature, action game, dealing with demons and angels. Wonderful 101, more of a teen-rated game, still the same beat-em-up mechanics, but it's in this colorful, vibrant cartoon world that feels completely different and unique to something like Bayonetta 2. And like I said, I do have a few complaints about this game, and they are small, but it doesn't hold your hand and explain things very well. Sometimes that's for the best, you don't feel like you're getting too many tutorials, but in certain sequences like this, you get this great cutscene, but then you have to hit the B button, and it tells you that, but you only have a second really to think about it, and it's never introduced this mechanic before. And while I'm able to succeed here, in other areas I fail a few times because the game isn't really being specific about what it's asking you. What I'm going to let you do is the music and sound effects are incredible as well. Watch this boss fight. I'll be back in about a minute, and we'll talk more about the wonderful 101. I love that when you defeat Hoedown here, you just cleave him in half with that gigantic sword. And that's one of the fun mechanics of the game, is just how many different team attacks you have. Because the main hook of the game is you're not just one playable character, you're a bunch of playable characters. And you can use them to your advantage by making these gigantic weapons to attack with. And in between those boss fights, you get a little bit of gameplay here. You got to avoid those rockets, and I got hit by one. But it does a great job of pacing it so that you're not constantly in combat. And when I play the Wonderful 101, I'm kind of brought back to feeling like a kid when you would use action figures or army men to set up these epic battles in your bedroom, or at least that's what I did with the army men. And this game has that same feel to it where everything feels miniaturized, but it also feels like you're fighting a full-scale battle in a city. So from that visual aspect, this feels a lot like playing the electronic version of playing with action figures and toys as a child. And it has that charm that it makes me smile when I'm playing it, and I'm always enjoying it. But like I said, Platinum Games is one of the best developers when it comes to action combat, and the Wonderful 101 is no different than the rest of their games. This is easy to learn and very difficult to master because you're always dealing with asset management, what characters you have, what different attack power-ups you're using, and being able to effectively manage a battle while dealing with all the characters you have, because when you get hit, they break off from you and you need to run over them to recollect them before they die or are lost. So you definitely have to worry about what your opponents are doing, what the best attack at that moment in time is going to be, and you also have to deal with keeping your characters with you so that your attack is more powered up. And I like that. The game is constantly challenging you at every corner, but it feels fair enough that you're learning, and when you actually win a battle, you feel like you've had a really nice achievement. It doesn't feel so easy that it's not a challenge. It doesn't feel so hard that it wants to drive you nuts and you want to put the game down. And Platinum is just tops at that feeling of learning while also achieving. But like I said earlier, some things just aren't explained well at all. We get this cutscene, and then you're going to have to use the gamepad or the analog stick to draw something on the screen. It tells you to jump, and it says unite hand, but it doesn't give you any sort of idea. It just says R and circle, and you'll see that the first time I fail it because I'm not really sure what the game is asking of me, and it only gives me 9 seconds. And I would say that's probably the game's one flaw, is that you're just never 100% sure in some instances what it wants of you. When you actually draw the right pattern, you'll see it turns red, but if you go too far, fixing it is difficult. And while it doesn't really hinder you that much and it's not going to ruin the gameplay experience, I will say that on occasion, it just asks you to do something that it's never shown you before, and you're going to get slightly confused by it. But now that we are past that point, we have this giant shield, and we're going to have to use it to protect ourselves from all of these falling gas tankers. It's a fun little mechanic, and it's less intense than the battles, but it's still challenging enough where you feel like something new is happening and you're getting to experience the game, giving you a little something extra. And then using the gamepad, you're able to draw lines and create ladders to get up onto areas that were inaccessible before. So it does a great job of using the gamepad and different mechanics to its advantage. But short of that, that is the Wonderful 101. If you've never played the game before, pick it up on whatever platform you want. But for my money, the Wii U is the best version because a lot of the gamepad mechanics are really important to the game, and it just seems to be the Wii U version was the quintessential version, even with the remasters. But we will be back next Tuesday with an episode in our Wii U series, and we'll have videos on Friday and Sundays as well. But if you do me a huge favor, go down below and hit like and subscribe. We appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments on the game, leave them down below. I love chatting with you guys about it. But we will see you next week with another Wii U episode. Bye-bye.